What's up, guys? I'm Npen, and today I'm going to be talking a little bit about my FNCS experience over the 2 qualifiers. I'm going to talk a little bit about the weapon and item meta, my experience with it, how I felt going through the finals with it, what kind of play styles you should play in stacked lobbies, final lobbies, going into heats, especially if you're one of the teams that qualified, or even going into future cash cups, stuff like that. You know, if you make a finals or high elo cash cup games, even what you can do to perform in those as well. Going into the first qualifier, me and Zemo got 7th, luckily, and we're able to qualify through to grands, which was really nice. And so I feel like we put a lot of hard work in, and it definitely paid off. Qualifying through that first qualifier was a little difficult. You know, a lot of good players were playing, and the games were definitely stacked. But, you know, we pulled through and managed it. And then I was able to watch the whole second qualifier, which I think helped a lot to learn about other play styles and stuff. You know, being able to watch all those teams that streamed and VOD review that all the way through semis and finals. Those were some good games as well. The things that I noticed personally with the meta, I kind of knew a lot about the meta before the qualifiers, but I do feel like I learned a lot in finals as well. Especially this was the first finals I've played contested, which was definitely a different, you know, play style, since you have to rotate a lot later. You know, you get free surge some games, but other games you get scuffed, and you know, we kind of 50-50 the first 3 games, killed them the first 2, and then died in the third one. But we were in a position after those first 2 games where we thought we could potentially qualify, so we played to just split our drop spot, which worked out. But at the same time, our drop spot's really hard to split. It's not the best loot, so we were playing on scuffed loot, and we had to look for a lot more refreshes and power plays than we would have if we were just uncontested. Some things that I noticed though in this meta, at least for finals, I used to like look at finals in a different way, I feel like, and I try to, at the beginning of the season especially, I try to play finals lobbies to get way better loot than you actually need. You know, going into a finals lobby, a lot of people are scuffed on loot, and so if you're playing those and you have bad loot, realistically you probably don't even have the worst loot in the lobby. You know, a lot of people get really bad loot. If you have at least, you know, solid hard mats, some type of mobility, and some, you know, even a little bit of shield, as long as you're up on surge and you can save those hard mats for endgame, you can look for a refresh early, since a lot of people don't have a lot of good loot, and they're going to be looking for stuff as well, so they'll make a mistake and you can capitalize on that. So never get too worried about your loot. Don't think you're out of the game until you're, you know, completely out of the game. You can always make a play to get a refresh. Like one of the games I died off spawn instantly. Zemo managed to get my card, get away, reboot me at a different POI, and then we snuck back up and played in the buildings that we knew they were going to come loot to, and we were able to pick one off and like kind of fully come back from the game, get surge off that, and we got to loot the rest of the POI that we land. So that was really good. And I mean, if we didn't have that game and we didn't make that play and we gave up and just try to, like, you know, Zemo tried to 1v2 or something, then we wouldn't have qualified, you know. So there's always something you can do to come back, especially in finals, even in normal games as well. You can always look for a power play. Some play styles that I realized in stack lobbies that work pretty good are just, I mean, you just have to be able to get good surge. The game requires way less, you know, mechanics and anything like that in a laggy lobby. You kind of just have to be able to know how to get surge, where to put yourself for surge, and then as long as you make endgame, like I said, you can always get a refresh. If you get one good refresh in first moving, you're set for the whole endgame. Like you can get a top 5 from just one refresh, even being, you know, going to endgame with only like 300 wood each or something. If you get some hard mats and you have a mobility item like Spider-Man or one pad or something, you can definitely make something out of it. And then going into future FNCS games down the line, or FNCS seasons, I feel like this meta, a lot of people think that it's a bad meta and it doesn't represent how the game will be in the future. I do think it's definitely different with Spider-Man's in the game and how spray heavy it is, but I think a lot of people struggle in this meta because they're not as careful. They play like it's, you know, how the guns used to be. They play not as careful because you didn't used to have to play as careful, since you couldn't get insta beamed. You know, if your wall was like, even if you have a full HP brick wall, you can get, you know, caught off guard and double sprayed in the back by SMGs and die instantly. Whereas before, you know, you couldn't really get double sprayed by ARs on a full brick wall, and you'd hear it before, you know, they break through and are able to beam you like that. So a lot of people are just they haven't adapted to the whole, you know, being fully aware. As long as you're aware, it's not hard to thrive in this meta. If you're always paying attention, you can't get caught off guard. Now I do think think that when the meta changes, hopefully pumps will come back, and hopefully it'll go back to kind of a normal game, how it used to be. And I think, you know, a lot of those teams that are really good before and haven't been thriving as much this season will probably return to the top, just because, you know, they'll be back to the normal playstyle that they're used to. But, you know, I feel like this season isn't as different as people think, and as long as you're able to adapt, you know, you can thrive in any meta pretty much. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Winning this FNCS, feeling pretty confident, and we were able to pull through. You know, and if you're going into heats, there's a lot of opportunities to qualify. If you're having bad games, all it takes is one win to qualify, or consistency. So, you know, as long as you're able to make it to those end games and make a power play for height or low grounds, look for a win. And even if you don't win, you know, pull through with a top 8, a top 5, a top 3. As long as you're consistent, people are going to have bad games. If you're uncontested, it'll definitely, you'll be one of those teams to call through consistency. So just, you know, have a good mental, don't give up early, and good luck to everybody. Yeah. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like below, hit the sub button, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.